Hello and welcome to the Final Fantasy Entertainment and Podcast Network, Final Fan TV. I am your host, the Warrior of Hype, and joined with me, man, this is a special one. I'm really excited about this. We have the voice director of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Kirk Thornton, as well as the recording engineer for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Justin Kozonis.
Hello.
Man, this is so exciting. Thank you so much. First of all, I want to just kind of start right off with it by saying thank you for being here on Final Fan TV. When I started Final Fan TV, my goal was to earn opportunities such as this, to be able to speak with those who had a part in bringing Final Fantasy to us. And it's the reason why I create, so I cannot thank you enough for taking the time out of your day to be here. I hope you see this as a way to just let loose, have a great time, and celebrate finally having Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. It's out there, it's done, and just kind of celebrate that with this interview and be able to talk about it. We're gonna start it off with kind of a spoiler-free, like we're just gonna talk about the process, your roles in all of this. And then I will make a big major spoilers announcement. So if you haven't completed the game, everybody watching, then you'll see the big spoiler warning. You'll get my big spoiler warning. I'll even try to time bar it in the YouTube chapter for you, so that way you know it's coming. But yeah, so let's just dive right into it. I would like to have you guys introduce yourselves and what your roles were, and kind of explain how that works. We'll start with Kirk Thornton. I know on Twitter, I believe you had posted after Crisis Core Reunion came out, and you were like, the game's out. Big thanks to Justin. He was my co-pilot. So you guys work really close together, and I'm very curious of how that all goes down. So take it away.
Yeah, no, I'm Kirk Thornton. What you're talking about, I lean very heavily on my engineer. Unfortunately, the engineer is not a real glamorous job, but it makes the whole process so much easier for me. I mean, we fight like hell. We go at each other constantly, but all those fights are because we're both incredible perfectionists, and we both want it right, and so that puts us at each other's throats sometimes, because he wants the audio quality right, I want the acting performance right, and sometimes they don't jive. But no, and I lean very heavily on Justin. Sometimes he'll hear something, he'll hear a read, and he'll say that's definitely in the guy's character. And I go, I don't know if I like that one. But so I listen to him a lot, because he's more of a gamer than me, so he knows the history of the game a little bit better than I, and he's been working with some of the actors longer than I have. So I depend on him a lot. And then, like I said, we go at each other's throats and fight over takes. But it's not just Justin and I with this game. We've got the adapters who are just incredibly important on this game. They did just a spectacular job, and having them either in the room or online with us is so helpful, because there are times when a line doesn't work, doesn't fit, it's just not working, and to have guys as good as they are say, yeah, I'll change it to this. And you go, oh, great, thank you. Because sometimes adapters can get a little bit too in love with their own words and go, no, it's got to be this. But our team is just astounding. They are so wonderful and so easy to work with, and such an integral part. It's here in the booth. It's just a real team effort.
Yeah. I can imagine so, and you have to be all on the same page. So that's very interesting stuff. And you're the voice director of it, so you kind of have to take everything into a consideration when you're doing the direction of it.
Absolutely.
So Justin Kozonis, thanks for coming back onto the show. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, thanks for having me back.
Yeah, man, it's good to have you here. So for those who did not watch that previous podcast, could you reintroduce yourself to Final Fan TV and what you do?
I'm Justin Kozonis. I am the lead recording engineer for Final Fantasy VII Remake and Rebirth. Basically, all I do is mic up the talents, get a good sound, make sure levels are clean, crisp, and then hit record and do what Kirk tells me to do.
Do what Kirk tells me to do. So,
see, Justin's amazing. He makes it sound simple, but being a perfectionist, sometimes I'll hear a word in one line. I say, no, can you give me that one word and throw it in this take? And he can do it. He can take a letter and from one take and throw it into another one and make it sound seamless and absolutely perfect. So
And vice versa too. There times I hear a word I don't like, and I'm like, let me just steal it from this one. And then,
yeah,
cool.
Yeah.
Sorry, just a quick. I didn't catch this in pre-show, but Justin, your mic is coming in like really, really loud, and then Kirk is coming in pretty quiet. So I just want to.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I can. Which one do you want? You want Kirk up or me down?
I think if you just kind of step back from the mic a little bit, I think it might work.
Okay.
But there we go.
A little more off mine.
There, a little off mic.
Yeah.
Now we're both off mic.
I can do this. How's this? Is this better?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay, we'll stick with this then.
Awesome. All right. I'm sorry to interrupt that, but yeah, I mean that is really, really difficult to do. As I'm like trying to make videos myself of like all I want is just this one thing, and then I want to blend this word into a different paragraph. It's just really hard to do. So that's awesome. But yeah. All right. So let's. Justin, you had posted on Twitter, and I think the fandom deserves to know also your food choices for lunch and dinner. I'm going to get to the bottom of that, man. We're going to get to give the fans what they want, Justin.
Well, let's start with breakfast, right?
Yeah, start with breakfast.
Let's start with breakfast.
The breakfast is far and away the most entertaining.
Oh yeah. No, we were doing we're recording Paul Tinto sessions, and he was in Scotland, so we get here sometimes 5. I never got here before 6 a.m. I think I got lucky. I got all the 6 a.m. sessions.
Oh, I was definitely here before 6 a.m.
Yeah. But we'd finish 6 a.m., go to 10 a.m., and then Paul and the engineers on this side were curious what we're getting for breakfast. So usually it was the place right around the corner here. I can't even think of it. We order all the time. Well,
not the Coral.
Yeah, Coral.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we did a lot because it was easy.
Well, and this coffee shop has a menu that just goes on for pages and pages and pages. And so we'd always have a competition say, well, or not a competition, but we'd like more of a pool say, okay, this is what we're having. What do you guys want for breakfast in Scotland? And they'd hear what we're having, and they go, "Oh my God, I could never eat that for breakfast."
That's just too heavy, too much, too many carbs. I'm like, I need those carbs for later.
This was gonna get me through the day, man.
Yeah, it was always an integral part of the session. At one point, during a break, they'd say, "Okay, so what are you guys having for breakfast?" And we. Yeah.
They're like, we're about to eat. Would they be allowed to eat dinner? I imagine, right?
Yeah.
They're about to eat dinner. Yeah.
And Paul Tinto is the voice of Kate Sith, correct?
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Just gonna throw that out there. So shout out to Paul. And let's see, Rebirth has an insane amount of spoken dialogue, and I'm sure you guys know this, right? This has gotta be way more than Remake. But I'm very curious of when did this all start? Like, when did the project for Rebirth start, the recording sessions, and like how long did they go on for? To get like a roundabout like idea of how long this took to record all of these lines, because everything is spoken, every side quest and everything. So
you can basically call it a year and a half. It started at the very beginning of 2022.
So through what, April of
23.
So a year and 4 months of pretty much solid recording. We may have had a couple days off here, a week there, but
also had 2 rooms going too.
Yeah, plus we had 2 rooms going for a long time.
That's an upgrade from
8-hour days.
I believe I remember talking to you, Justin. You said that the studio like upgraded the last, like during the remake sessions, right? Is that correct? Or I thought the studio
we were upgrading during intergrade.
Yeah, nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. So you got to take full advantage of the new studio there. That's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was nice. For sure.
Yeah. So the this one's going to be for Kirk. Kirk, as the voice director, you are in charge of bringing out the best of this cast. Like just phenomenal talent. Rebirth tells a story that requires an array of emotions, and from drama to comedy. Is there any particular way that you approach these moments? Like, do you allow for one session to be just for fun? Like, hey, today's session we're just going to do all the fun comedy, and then that way they can get in the mindset for the next day, which is going to be all emotions, all emotional beats, or are you and the actors required to pivot at any point?
Yeah, pretty much. We're required to pivot. We pretty much worked linearly through the script. We just progressed through with the storyline, and different directors have different styles. Mine is, and I don't know if it works or not, but it's to create a more playful atmosphere where the actor feels he can play, whether it's serious or whether it's comedy. The actor needs to feel free to have fun, because even when you're playing something deathly serious and all that, actors still have a ball doing it. But that's just my philosophy. Some directors aren't that way. Some directors. And when we get to the real heavy stuff, yeah, I'll pull back on the jokes and I'll get quiet. But sometimes if I feel that the mood needs to be broken a little bit, it's getting a little too heavy, I'll break it up.
Yeah. And this is.
But no.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
We just plow through it as it comes, and the great thing about this game is they gave us the time. They didn't say, you've got to get this done by such and such, and you've got to plow through and just take what you get. No, we had time to flush things out and get it the way we wanted. If we wanted to do 20 takes on something, we'd do 20 takes until everybody was satisfied that we'd gotten it right. Usually it didn't take that much, but because the actors, oh my God,
that's awesome.
They're so good.
Yeah, they are. And and to kind of add on to what you're saying, where you're like, this is my philosophy, this is kind of how I like to do things. That's spoken like that because you are a voice actor yourself, and you've I don't know if maybe for viewers that may not know this, but you were the voice of Saix, aka Isa in Kingdom Hearts. You were Shadow the Hedgehog, and just so many more. So this is kind of spoken from a place of experience, and now that you're in the director role, I guess my question would be, have you taken any of that? I mean, I guess that is kind of a something you've taken from being a voice actor, is to keep it fun and keep it lighthearted. But yeah, I guess my question would be, have you taken anything from your experience as a voice actor into being a voice director? Because the cast has spoken highly of both of you many times. So yeah, obviously you're doing it right.
So I mean, yeah, several things. I steal from every good director I work with. And as a voice actor, I get to work with a lot of really good directors, and I steal from the good ones, and I avoid the mistakes from the bad ones.
Yeah.
But as far as the acting goes, not so much my voice, my experience as a voice actor, but being trained as an actor. There's a certain language that you learn in acting school, especially because I studied in conservatory for just nothing but acting for 3 years. So that's where I get most of my the stuff for directing, not from what I've done voicing.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. You're obviously doing it right, man. You're obviously taking all of the good things and leaving the bad things. So that's awesome. Justin, this one's for you. Justin, Remake was your first time as a lead recording engineer, if I remember correctly, during that interview that we had a while back. You said it helped you be better at it after doing it. That's something that you learned from that experience. And then you moved on into Intergrade, which you got to do as well. But that was during the times of COVID. So that was, Zoom, Skype calls, or whatever for Square Enix to call in and listen in. You had to adapt to all of that. Now, I'm imagining since Rebirth kind of started recording in 2022, maybe that stuff was kind of a little more lenient, and you were back into the saddle, so to speak. Did you feel like you finally established that, your own rhythm going into it?
Yeah, totally. Definitely. It was just a lot easier to jump right back into this. We were actually wrapping up Crisis Core Reunion right before we started recording Rebirth, so I was already in the mode, already in rhythm, and we still had restrictions, though. We were playing a little safe with COVID at the time, but we were allowed to have the talents in the same booth in the same day, after each other. So we just had to clean it, which we did, and we gave them their own bathroom. So you saw a lot of Twitter posts of actors posting their bathroom signs. So we gave them their own safe space and everything, and had a glass shield in here at one point.
Yeah. There were a lot of protocols we maintained.
Yeah, protocols loosened up, but we still had other protocols we had to deal with. But
yeah, it's so important to have everybody in the room when you're doing that. I can imagine. So yeah, that's awesome that you were able to kind of was there any anything that you learned from this? Well, we're gonna keep this going. We're gonna keep this going every time you do a project. I'm just gonna ask you, hey, anything you learned? Anything you learned from that? And how do you feel coming out of Rebirth? You know what I mean? Like, are you?
I think Rebirth really got me in touch of what Kirk really wants in a take.
Yeah, I can. That's so important because but at this point you guys have worked together on this probably almost a decade. No, I don't know if that's right. But Remake was revealed in 2015, and then whenever you started recording for Remake for the actual game, this has been a long time, and you've been able to establish relationships with Kirk, the voice cast, and I imagine everything was kind of just flowing a lot more naturally for this game.
Yeah, like on Remake, it was always shuffled. I wasn't always working with Kirk. It was with Kirk, with Bob, Colette, Keith Farley. That was it, and it was always shuffled. It was there was no this time around. It was just if Kirk was available and I was available, it was us two in the same room, no matter what.
Awesome.
So we logged in more hours. We're always joking. We saw each other more often than we saw our significant others.
Working hard on this. Like we said, lots and lots of dialogue.
Yeah.
Well,
so there are times where an actor says, actors usually give us 3 takes for a line. And Kirk is thinking about it, and I just grab a piece here and a piece there, and I smash together, and I go, "How about this?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, that's great. Let's go with that."
And then, even speaking on that a little bit more, Rebirth is, of course, recorded in Japanese first, and then you guys have to convey all of that in English. And from my understanding, what's being said, the things that you record have to fall into the time allotted, correct? It needs to be this dialogue is 5 seconds long. You need to translate it and make it 5 seconds long, right? Is that right? And then, so this one's kind of for Kirk here. So Kirk, this is, you're the director, so you need to be able to say, all right, well, we need to condense what's being said. We need to adjust it. We need to make it, put our own flair on it. The cast has their own personal input and flair they want to put on it, and you're directing the vocal inflections and all that other stuff. So do you feel a kind of a pressure to make sure that the message of what the Japanese version is going for? Do you feel like this kind of pressure to make sure that you're conveying it correctly, but also making all of those adjustments?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a real tightrope, because our production crew in Japan, they wanted a certain way. They want us staying, relatively close to, the Japanese intention for the line, while at the same time they've released us a little bit more as they trust me and the adapters to Americanize. We definitely hit that timing. There's 30 frames a second.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's 30 frames in a second. We have to be within 5 frames plus or minus. So it's so tight, the timing. But yeah, the Japanese performance. Many of the performances are, they're broad, they're big, they're theatrical, and so we tried to, for the American audience, we tried to pull that down a little bit, some of the theatricality. There's times when, we let the actors cut loose and really rip, but a lot of times we tried to, get it a little bit more natural, a little less theatrical, and so I would have the actors listen for the intention, and because they hear the Japanese before they do it, so they can, they're speaking Japanese, but you can hear the emotion. It's most of the actors are really good at picking up on that. Some aren't, and that's where I have to do my job. But most of them are really good at picking it up, and then it's just that the fine line between getting what the original performance in Japanese was, and yet making it our own.
Yeah, it makes sense. And then I guess in other circumstances, this is a question I don't really know about. Like when the characters are off screen and they're in battle or they're we're exploring, does that give you freedom to kind of, I don't know, ad-lib or opportunities to just kind of say, hey, let loose and do something, whatever you want here within the realm of like, reason. But it's like, if you're feeling it for like John Eric Bentley, hey, if you're whatever you're thinking Barrett's feeling right now, is there opportunities for ad-lib and things like that?
Not so much. No, he will say, God, these words are great. I think I could, if I say this, it might help. And I'll go back and forth with the adapter, and they'll say, yeah, let's go. And other times they'll say no, because this phrase is important later on in the story. So you can there's only so much improvisation you can do. But and as far as the offlines, it should give you more freedom, but we're in such a mode of, we're in this this rhythm that we kind of keep it the same whether it's off, whether it's on. We give the line the same importance, and there's not a lot of room for improvisation. Sometimes the actors will say, "Hey, how about this?"
Yeah,
and I'll discuss it with Ben or one of the other adapters, and they'll say, "Yeah, let's try that." And many times it'll work, but for the most part, the script is so good that I think that we stay pretty close to it. But our adapters are flexible, and if something great pops up, we'll definitely throw it in.
Yeah,
and they're more than happy.
Yeah, it definitely seems that way when you're playing the game, that everything that's spoken feels important. So I can get that. I definitely understand that, where it's just like, well, you don't want to tamper with it too much. But one of my favorite stories, Justin, I got to bring it back. Got to bring it back, Justin. I'm going to bring it back. This is your legacy now, Justin.
Let's roll it.
Well, this is Justin's thing.
This is Justin.
This is my game.
This is his legacy. When the Beck's Badasses were talking, and you said, "Can we make that line do recompense?" And so that made it into the game. That made it into remake. So the do recompense made it in, and I believe during my our last interview we were talking about intermission, and when Roach was talking, being his theatrical self, and maybe went a little suspicious and over the top, you suggested, can we have one of the kids say, "I need an adult"? So, and that one didn't make it in the game.
No, it didn't make it in the game.
But I was wondering if there was any more ideas like this, or any more circumstances like this that you were able to suggest, or were able to add some input. This is for both of you, that you hoped made it into the game, and you don't know if it did or not, or that it didn't make it in, or whatever. But was there any moments like that? In this
For me, I don't think so. Like, nothing stands out to me. I can't remember anything, so probably not. Maybe like little things here and there, but Nothing.
Nothing on the
stands
do
out.
recompense level.
No.
I get it, man. That's just brilliant. That's just brilliance. How about you, Kurt?
No. When I first started directing Fred Tatasciore as Don Corneo, I had just some really playful, wonderful things. I don't remember specifically what they were, and Fred was totally into it and totally ready to go. And then our adapter said, "No, they want it. They want us sticking right on what much closer to what the Japanese actor had done." And Fred and I were like, "Okay."
Yeah, Don
we'll play
seems.
your game.
Yeah, Don seems like a character that you would definitely want to let loose and let them go crazy with.
Yeah, and Fred's just the actor to do it too.
Oh, he's brilliant. He was
yeah,
the voice of Barrett, right, from Gears of War, if I remember correctly. I'm not too sure. I don't know if you can comment on that. I feel like he was, but I might be confusing with somebody else. But he's a phenomenal actor. I loved Don Corneo. Awesome.
I mean, I will tell you my favorite line of the game.
Okay.
Pretty sure you'll remember. You probably won't remember. It was Kyrie's line, and had to do something with the word monster baiting was in it, and the way she used the line. We were dead in the studio for a good couple minutes out of commission because we couldn't help it. It was way too funny and just came out of left field.
I don't know if I've gotten to that point in the that side quest. Was that a side quest? I feel like probably
it might have been.
That's amazing.
But yeah, no, like
There's some pretty amazing stuff with Mallory too in the first in remake.
Right.
And Cody's reactions
right,
to what was going on. Those were a lot of fun.
I've actually spoken with Mallory on the show, and she's hilarious. She's so much fun. Mm-hmm. She did a Mad Libs with us, where we basically took her dialogue from the hand massage, and had her and had her replace words within that. Oh my god! And then she did it back, like she read it back in character and did not break. It was just hilarious. Wow. She's great.
Yeah.
So
nice.
Rebirth obviously has a more fun tone than remake, I would say. I think that's fair to say. Like there's this really fun tone to it. I mean, not denying Rebirth also has very serious and dark moments as well, but there's this really fun tone. There's eccentric characters everywhere. There's peculiar situations we find ourselves in. And I actually, and I'm not, it's like, this is not just a saying. I laughed out loud a couple of times where I'm like, and I have my headphones in, so it's just completely quiet in the living room, and I'm laughing. One of those moments, in particular, was when Yuffie's introducing herself to the party, and she's, doing, you got Susie going, over the top, like the White Rose of Wutai, and like all the, the over the top stuff, and then she's done saying it like, Materia Hunter, and then Cloud just goes, cool. and just walks away. I just busted out laughing. I was not expecting that. So I can only imagine that recording this game was just a super fun experience. So I'm going to ask both of you, was there a moment when you're recording this that you found yourself laughing in the booth? You were just, it's something that stuck with you as the funniest memory of recording. Is there one particular thing that you can think of?
From the actors, we laughed so much, so nothing.
Yeah,
everything blends together.
We spend a lot of time just laughing.
Yeah, we laugh a lot.
We're not restrained about that at all. We just belly laugh here and just roll back. God, trying to think of one particular moment.
I mean, Kirk really made me laugh one time. This one stands out for me.
What Kirk do?
So Kirk has a standing desk right here. So he likes to stand up when he directs, sometimes sits down, whatever his legs are feeling. I think we had an intern in at the time. I'm pretty sure we had an intern in at the time. And so Kirk asked me to pull a comp, and I pulled the wrong one. And I played it back, and I realized once I played it back, that's the wrong one. And then Kirk just goes, "That's not the take I wanted," and throws his notes off the table against the wall. And I am just dead laughing. I can't work for a good 5 minutes. he just completely broke me. It was the funniest thing. Like, that's the funniest thing to me. It's like on the whole session. And then Kirk is dying as well because I'm dying. The intern's like, should I laugh? Should I not laugh? I don't know what's going on.
Is he serious right now? That's fantastic. That's payback for when you put the cockroach on his button, right? Like,
probably.
Yeah, So, Kirk, you got a moment for me, or do you want me to get to the next question?
I can't think of one particular moment that just knocked me over because there were so many.
Yeah.
All the performances just almost without fail, almost every actor gave me something that just cracked me up. God. I've got nothing specific. I'm sorry. I wish I had a good story.
I mean, we had fun with Cody a lot when he was doing the Koopos and the and the Ribbits.
Because Cody is so serious. He is so dedicated. He's such a dedicated actor. He's so wonderful. But yeah, when you get him doing something goofy like that, that was a lot of fun, making him jump through those hoops.
Do you got a story about that? Because we're gonna talk about Cody on the flip side of this conversation, and when I get to the spoiler part. So working with Cody on that one, is there like a particular direction you had to give with the Koopo and the Ribbits and stuff? It's like, he doesn't know this is coming. Like, hey, today.
No, he had no idea.
We're gonna make you act like a frog. So.
It was all there for the context. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Context is like, you got to say it like this. Like, you're thinking this. So
you're thinking this, but all you can say is Koopo.
Yeah.
I actually just finished that side quest up probably 2 days ago. So when he's like Koopo, looking at it.
Exactly.
All right, so let's see. Oh, you know what? Before we move on from funny stuff, the Scotch and Koch rap. Was that in your studio? Was that in the studio?
Yes.
Oh yeah, dude! Please tell me all about this day.
Unfortunately, Kirk wasn't here for that because we didn't need a director. It was a song music thing, so it was just yeah.
I was here. I watched a little.
You watched a little bit, I think. Yeah, but it was mostly. I think it was just me and Ben for the most part, and
the clients.
And the clients, I think they were in Japan.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah. Yeah. No. So they just came in and. We had the tracks. They had Japanese reference of the way they did it, so they could hear a little bit of timing.
Yeah.
Pretty sure. Yeah, they just came in and knocked it out. We did, a few takes here and there, a couple doubles. But that was fun.
I bet so.
Late night.
Yeah. Late night, yeah.
Yeah, late night sessions for those.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I bet that's just that one's a lot of fun because that's completely out of Final Fantasy. That's not in Final Fantasy, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you're not really expecting to do that when you go into work that day, I imagine. So that's got to be a lot of fun. I love that.
Actually,
scene.
no, I was the actors knew about it way ahead of time, and they were always asking about, is this going to be today? So I'm like, not that I know of. And then I think it was their last session. And is it going to be tonight? I'm like, yep, gonna be tonight.
It's gonna be tonight. They're rehearsing. They're making sure they're rapping on the way to the studio. That was such a great. Oh man, I love that. That was so fun.
Nice. Yeah, I haven't played any of the game yet, so I haven't seen a lot of those things. But
okay.
So glad it's all turned out well.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That was awesome. Yeah, that was well. I mean, obviously, you'll see it when you get to the game.
Yeah.
It's I can't. It's not like I'm going to spoil it for you. I already know.
Can't spoil that going. Yeah, you can't spoil that game for me.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. All right. So, I want to share with you guys a video. Let's see if I can make this work on my end. Let me bring this up. Boom. There we go. And I'll put this up here. So this is a video of Matthew Mercer, which he is the voice of Vincent Valentine, but he shared a video on Twitter about how he was told he was the voice of Vincent Valentine.
They brought me in to record background voices, just a couple of random people in Nibelheim or whatever, and partway into the session, the screen began to glitch out.
That's weird. Doing something weird here. Hold on.
And It led to this weird black screen display into text of, what if you were playing a different character?
What the hell is this?
And so they revealed to me in session that I was actually there to record Vincent instead of these background characters.
No. Are you f***ing serious? Oh man, I'm not gonna lie. This fucking means a lot to me.
And it kind of broke me in a beautiful way. I think that's going to be a particular memory I carry with me for a very, very long time.
Nice. So I wanted to share that because this is the kind of atmosphere that you bring. So you bring in Matthew Mercer. He thinks like he said, he thinks he's coming in to just do that NPC dialogue, and then you do this. It makes it reminds me of that Barrett scene from Remake when you didn't tell him it was going to happen, like when he got stabbed in Remake, and then he finds out while it's happening. But yeah, this is an awesome moment. So I guess I'm kind of to piggyback off of what I just showed you. Was there any more behind the scenes stuff that you can share with us, like stories like this, whether it be in the studio or at a convention, or anything you'd like to share during the making of Rebirth, such as this great story that Matthew Mercer just told?
I don't think we did that for anybody else. I mean, we did it for Matt because we knew he really wanted this role.
Yeah, he did.
And you weren't in that session.
No.
It was
No,
Bob was in that session. So it was Skylark's idea to do this, and I was asked if I had any ideas, and I was like drawing a blank, like I don't know what kind of prank I could pull on him. And then I didn't hear anything about Bob because Bob was also, he knew he was doing the session, and then all of a sudden Bob comes up with this PowerPoint, like this whole guy. I'm like, oh geez, that's great. And yeah, I mean, and we also played Matt like an NPC that was really high pitched voice, not in his range at all.
Just
and
to
he's just like,
juxtapose what he's going to be doing with
yeah,
Vincent. Yeah,
he gives it a shot, and he's just like, what the hell? It's like, what's going on here? And then, yeah, no. And then we showed him that video, or we kept going, and it was great to see his reaction. They cut out a lot of it, so, I mean, you guys are lucky you even got to see some of that, because I had no idea that was going to be shown in the documentary that they released. But, yeah.
Yeah, that's
But
awesome.
we never really did that for anybody else.
No, we messed with Sean Ryan a lot.
Yeah.
Just because he had so many words and so difficult to wrap your tongue around. So yeah, we messed with Sean Ryan a lot, but I can't think of anything really specific that we did to him. But yeah, we were always playing him when he'd screw up. You know, I'd get on him and then say, no, I'm just messing with you, dude. You're doing great. But
for those who may not know, Sean Ryan played which character?
Chadley.
Yeah.
So yeah, he oh my gosh, yeah, Chadley had a ton of lines in this game.
Yeah.
That's awesome. He does a great job as Chadley. I really enjoyed whenever he's popping up. So that's, I can imagine you had a lot of fun with Sean on that. So now I want to kind of go into spoiler territory here. So is there anything else that you guys would like to say that's spoiler free? Any behind the scenes stuff that you would like the audience to know? And then we're going to jump into some spoilers.
I don't know. I remember seeing Brianna's terrified face when she saw the Aerith was singing.
Oh yeah.
That was fun.
Did you make her sing? No.
No, we didn't. I don't think we even had lyrics. We didn't have any. It just said Aerith sings, and she's like, "Is that going to be me?" And we're like, "I don't think so." But,
absolutely.
I mean, I told her like, "Yeah, you didn't. No one told you. It's definitely going to be you."
Yeah.
And we're like, "No, you're fine. Don't worry about it."
That's cool. That's really cool.
Paul Tinto's his reactions were very interesting when he came over here and sat in on some recordings and saw the trash talk that goes on in the booth. that the actor can't hear. And so he's like, "Is it really you guys talking about me that way?" No, Paul, we love you.
No.
We never say anything bad about you, Paul. So yeah, Paul, that was fun to watch him as he saw what was going on when he couldn't hear us.
Mm-hmm.
Really getting in his head as he's. That's
There
awesome.
are, I mean, most of the time we try to keep it positive, but when you're working for a year and a half on something, sometimes the grind gets you, and you can be a little sharp, a little cutting, but you try not to let that affect the direction or the
mood.
Let that get
Yeah.
into the actor's head.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can completely understand that for sure. So we're going to get into everybody watching right now. If you haven't finished Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, I want to say thank you so much for watching. But we are going to start talking about some spoilery things. I mean, yeah, I mean, this is a warning. I just want to be safe than sorry here because I'm going to start talking about some key moments in Rebirth that I'm really, really curious of what they have to say about this stuff. So, and like how that process was. So if you don't want to know, now's your look at that spoiler warning. I'm putting up a little warning on the channel there. Or on the,
I'll say bye to everybody leaving. Just give them a good wave.
Yeah.
Nice seeing you. Enjoy the game.
Enjoy the game. So the spoiler warning's up.
Been over a month. Come on, guys, get on it.
Come on, yeah. I mean, this is a big game, Justin. All right, so this is at the 44-minute marker, so I have to make sure I make a note of that. Big, put a time bar, and I think I've delayed long enough. So here we go. So on the flip side of the question I asked you before about it's super fun and like there's these fun moments and Cody talking like a frog and all that stuff. Rebirth also features some very, very powerful performances, and these the most powerful performance for me was the and it's actually my personal favorite moment in the entire game. Is in the Temple of the Ancients, each character kind of has to undergo their own trial to face their traumas, and it's just it's so good, it's so impactful for me. To me, this is what Final Fantasy VII's always about for me. Like this is the core of it. So they really nailed it there. So whether it be this trial segment that I'm talking about or any scene in the game, anything, literally anything that you guys can think of, was there a session that has like stuck with you? Like there was the performance was so good that you're still thinking about it. Was there anything like that for you?
Now
I can't. What you
Rebirth
got?
and Remake, I don't want to get them mixed up, but the session it was in a hotel room with Tifa and Cloud. Was that in
The
Rebirth or
opening
Remake?
of
There was one a remake. I mean, there are two. There's
okay.
There's one. It was a really tender, just incredibly tender scene with two of them, and very awkward and I don't know. There were just emotions bubbling all over the place, and I thought Britt was brilliant, and I thought Cody was just ridiculous. They're both of their performances just The normal goofy Kirk, they brought him down, and it's just like, oh my God,
Nice.
just, so touching.
Was this could it possibly be? It's either two things that I'm thinking of. It's probably maybe the opening scene where they kind of have this. No, if it's a tender moment, probably not. But like there was a Tifa or Cloud questions Tifa, and like if she's telling the truth about herself, and then they meet up on the rooftop of the Calm Inn, and they have that really just quiet moment with each other that I thought that's done so well, where they kind of have this not an argument, but they're she has to show him her scar to kind of prove that she is who she says she is. Yeah. So there's that moment, and then there's the moment I believe in the Gold Saucer when Cloud or Tifa knocks on Cloud's door. They have this date, and they're on the gondola and all that other stuff. That was another really I guess tender moment as well.
Yeah, those were sweet. I think this was in Remake. I think because I remember it was in a room. They were sitting on a bed. and talking.
Remake when
So-
yes, okay, got it. Yes, when she was like, "I'm really glad you're back, Cloud," or something. That was remake,
Yeah.
I believe. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. How about you, Justin?
I don't know. I'm so numb to it now, so I can't think of anything. I know serious scenes, like I would just sit back, absorb it, and just be impressed by everyone doing their thing. But unfortunately, the memories don't stick.
Yeah, I mean it's a lot. It's a lot of dialogue
Well,
for sure. Yeah.
Passion, the whole Barrett, when his friends.
Oh, yeah, the dying scene.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
dying
yeah,
scene.
that one was really good. Yeah.
Man, those actors can cook, man. You know, like,
Yeah,
those actors.
no,
can cook.
I'm remembering that one now. Like, yeah, no, John really did a great job with
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
I agree.
Did a great job with everything.
Yeah.
That was a moment that I think a lot of people were looking forward to, like a lot of people were looking forward to seeing that scene because of the original was it was such a pivotal moment in the original for Barrett as a character, and we knew from John Bentley from Remake that he can deliver, and he didn't disappoint at all for that scene. So Justin, this one's for you. As I recall, in your first appearance on Final Fantasy TV, you said that you had not played the original game before going into Remake, so I was kind of curious, after doing Remake, after doing Integrate, after doing Reunion, did you find the time to go back and like, you know what, I gotta play the original game? Did you happen to do?
Absolutely not.
Okay. which is interesting, right? Because now it kind of flips it to where it's like, all right, so you haven't played the original game. Now you know all of this stuff is happening. Is there something that like you're looking forward to in the next game? Like something a story thread that happened in Rebirth that you're looking forward to seeing through, a character you're looking forward to getting their, resolution of what's going to happen to them?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to see how everything with the different timelines with Zach and
Oh yeah.
and all that wraps up.
Mm-hmm.
That's just, I don't know what's happening. I just record it and I go, what, and then okay, cool, all right, move on.
Yeah, that's a
but yeah, no, I'm
completely
looking
new
forward
thing.
to that. Yeah,
Yeah,
because nothing in the original game can help me with that. So
exactly, yes. You can still play the original game, Joe. There's time.
yeah, I still haven't played Intergrade, so
I'm very busy, I imagine. How about you, Kirky? Are you familiar with Final Fantasy VII, the original, or I think you said at the top of
No.
the show you were not. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you're looking forward to, like the most, to see how it wraps up? And same question, I guess.
Just the what's going to happen between Cloud and Sephiroth, that whole thing. I love the Sephiroth stuff, and his character arc. It was so great when an actor gets a character with an arc. He starts out someplace and goes someplace completely different, and just how that's going to resolve.
That segues beautifully into another question I had on this list, so I'm going to kind of just skip ahead to this one. So Tyler Hoechlin has gotten much spotlight. Hasn't gotten much spotlight for the Final Fantasy VII Remake projects. He's not in any of the interviews, the cast panels, and anything like that, and I'm pretty sure that's probably to kind of preserve the mystery around the character and everything. But could you speak a little bit more on what it's like to work with him? Sephiroth is a multifaceted character, right? He's he's the ultimate hero good guy at the start of Rebirth and in Reunion. And then he has this sharp descent into madness where he's kind of losing his mind. And then the next time you see him, he looks like he's got it all together. And this guy is he's omnipotent. He knows everything. Like he's this. He's got it all under control type thing. So he's got all of these different personalities that Tyler has to come in, and he's looking to you for that direction. So could you describe what kind of direction you give to Tyler when it comes to which face of Sephiroth are you wearing today? You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's interesting directing Tyler. At first, it's
Well, you didn't get to work with him on Remake.
no, I didn't get to work
The first
with him on
time
Remake.
you
It was
worked with
all-
him was
it was
Crisis
all Bob.
Core. Yeah.
And so they'd kind of set that up that all the sessions were with Bob. And so when my first session with him, I think Bob couldn't make it, something, or I don't know why I got it, but so I was a little like, oh, this guy's he's a little touchy to work with, maybe, and maybe that's why they haven't put me with him. But it came in and we got off together immediately. We just started feeding off each other, and you know, he would ask me, I'd give him a direction, then he'd ask me some questions, and I go, oh, that's a great question, and yeah, we really delved into the psyche and all the stuff, and sometimes you never know what you're going to get with a new actor, especially someone who's relatively I don't know if you'd call him a star, but yeah, it has some star status, and you think, okay, I may have to deal with kid gloves because I don't want to piss him off and have him walk out of a session and then we're screwed. But no, he was just amazing to work with, and I think it was mutual. I think we really both enjoyed working with each other, and again, we had the time to to delve into these things. I mean, yeah, Sephiroth, for the most part, he's pretty reserved and pretty in control, but there's got to be all kinds of things going on under that, or it doesn't come to life. If you're just playing, reserved and in control, you have to have all those other subtext and things going on under there to make it really special, and he did. He really brought it. It was a joy to work with him.
Yeah, you can hear it in his voice. Just two of my favorite moments with Sephiroth was when Cloud kind of charges at him and stabs him, and then like Sephiroth just brings him in for like kind of an embrace, like a hug, and I was like, oh man, this is. And then like the way he delivers that line that he says, it's just like, that was good. And then and I like when Cloud has the materia when he returns back to the forest, and he goes, "That's not supposed to be here. That's poor form." Like he's like, that's so yeah. Shout out to Tech. My gosh, why can't I say his name? I'm so sorry, man. So he would walk right out of my interview if I had. No, Tyler Hepland. Shout out to him. I hope that for part 3, when we get into that, I hope that he can join the cast panels and kind of be part of that hype building up, because I really think he needs to meet the fans. We all love him, and I think
he's incredibly busy. He really is. In his behalf. Yeah, incredibly busy dude.
I imagine so, for sure. Superman, he was Superman.
Yeah.
All right, so kind of jumping back to the moment. I want to talk about this one a little bit, so I'm going to show you another clip. Well, let's see. Let's hope this is the one. Yeah, this is it. This is it right here. So I'm going to bring this back. This is from the Popverse. Boom. Make sure we got that. This is from the Popverse cast panel that was done before Rebirth came out.
To a point where I was like, Kirk, Justin, I need to use the bathroom.
Okay.
And I look in
to kind of set the scene, he's talking about the moment where Barrett gets stabbed in Remake, and he thought that, he thought he was.
And Kirk's like, we didn't tell him that was coming. I'm like, yeah, I know where your car is, Kirk. But that threw me, and that's all I'm gonna say about that.
That's a really good Kirk impression, by the way. That was really
I
cool.
got Kirk and Justin.
That's great, man.
Sometimes I even get Cody, but I'm not gonna do it.
We didn't get to hear his impersonation of Justin though, but yeah, so he's talking about that moment, huh?
Did they ever do their impersonations of each other?
Of Cody and
did John do his impersonation of Cody?
I think they did on another live stream.
Oh
yeah.
God, it's hysterical.
They did it on Koopacon's Koopacast or Koopacon.
Yeah.
It was Koopacon. They did it where they did each other's impressions. or it was just John doing Cody's, and I don't think I heard Cody
John
do it.
did Cody a lot. I don't know. Did Cody ever do
I
John?
don't think I've ever heard Cody do John's Barrett though.
I don't remember if he's ever done Barrett. He might have, but I don't remember.
But yeah. So this was a moment where obviously we talked about it a little bit, where they didn't know it was going to happen. Kirk, you knew it was coming, and you were playing with him. You let him experience the whole thing in real time as he's like voice acting, and then he's like, "Wait a second," like this is crazy. So was there any moments like that in Rebirth where you kind of maybe did something similar, where it was a scene that the actors didn't know about, and then you kind of played with their emotions, or was there like on you like, oh my god, this is gonna happen, and then you kind of had to like flip ahead a little bit to? Was there a shocking moment for you?
I know we're in spoiler territory, but
we can talk about it. I have the spoiler warning up.
Okay, Aerith going down.
Yeah.
That as like no, she's the lead. You can't kill her. Wait a minute. It's Game of Thrones. Okay, let's kill her.
This is Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
This is a moment that a lot of us were anticipating because of the original. She actually does die in the original game. So for you, not having any idea of that happening, well, what was your like what was your reaction? And then like you had to tell, I guess, Brianna White to.
Well, she was not thrilled.
I don't imagine so.
Yeah. God, any other moments that just caught us by surprise? It's silly, but John riding on a chocobo. He wasn't expecting that. That's just silliness. I can't think of any others. What other things that threw us?
Like big turns like that, I can't think of anything either.
If I could throw out one thing,
if you have any, yeah.
I would have to think it was probably the moment where, like, Cloud attacks Tifa, and like actually that whole scene where he's kind of like going, like he's just like wiping out a whole platoon, and then he goes in, and then attacks Tifa. Was that something that was like, whoa? Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd forgotten about that, but.
Yeah. Was Britt Baron? Did she have a similar situation as John there? Where it's like, wait a second, is this the end of my character? What's happening?
I don't think so. I think she was cool about it.
Yeah, she was cool about it.
Cool. Yeah. All right. So speaking of Cloud losing his mind, this is. I mean, this is really cool for me because Cody does just an amazing job with this. I was looking for like some specific dialogue for a video I was making, and I wanted the specific dialogue, and so I turned the music. I just turned it off, which is a sin for Final Fantasy fans. I'm sorry, but I needed it for a video. But I turned the music off, and it's when Cloud is approaching Aerith after the Temple of the Ancients, and he's kind of chasing her down, and you can, I almost suggest anybody go do this. Turn the music down and go listen to this, because the performance is fantastic. Cody's like, he's delivering this line of like, Aerith, and like you can hear the voice, man, and he's like, give it to me. And then there's this like fantastic voice work, and I imagine brilliant direction as well here to like, he kind of goes like this desperate please, like a desperate please, like it almost breaks that whatever he was kind of going through, and he just kind of gets so desperate, like, please give it to me. And I just thought that right there was just amazing. Amazing talent and direction. So what was it like recording these scenes with Cody, like the ones where he's kind of starting to lose his mental state, and you kind of have to talk to him? I think he even talks about this during the pop verse, where he's like, I have like this moment where I'm not really who I am type thing. So what was the direction you gave to him during these moments?
I'm trying to remember. I don't know if I gave him anything specific. But he's so good. There are times with the really good actors that you just let them go.
Yeah.
You just loosen up the reins and let them rip. And if you need, with Cody, it was probably, I don't remember specifically. It's probably more about reining him in a little bit, you know, because you say, okay, this is you, Cody, go for it. This is your time to let her go, and then just keeping very delicate hand on the reins to pull back and to let him out, you know, as necessary. But yeah, I'm sure it was. I don't think I can take any credit for that. I'm sure it was all Cody.
I mean, I'm pretty sure it's also that all those sessions with us stuck in the booth drove him a little crazy. So it's probably easy for him to pull from that.
Just draw from this. Think about how long we've been here. You're starting to lose your mind.
Yeah.
And then I guess there's a moment where Red 13 returns home. Was that shocking to you guys when he returns home to Cosmo Canyon and Max Middleman, fantastic voice actor?
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure a lot of this was kind of, you know, him finding the voice as well, but kind of curious if you had any input on finding Red's true voice. It is a quite drastic change from his wise and mature sounding voice that we got to know from Remake, and then he sounds like a, you know, child. He's childlike. So what was that like, trying to find Red's true voice?
Well, that was established in the audition,
Yeah,
right?
he did both voices in the audition.
Yeah.
So it was already set.
Really, from Remake's audition, like way back in Remake?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Mhm.
That's
That's why he got the role, is because he was able to do those two voices so distinctly, yeah. So yeah, he'd already established it by the time I got to him.
That's awesome.
And
that's cool.
and we just went with what he had created.
Yep.
Yeah, like to be able to be so dynamic. Sometimes he's just throwing it out there like back and forth. But I'm sure that, you know, that's being recorded separate times. But either way,
Yeah.
but like when we're doing the pirate side quest, he's talking like a pirate in the mature Red voice, and then he's like switching back to the like whoa, man. But yeah, it's really cool. All right, so I think I've kind of gotten through my list of questions. So I mean, I would like to pull from chat if you guys have any questions that obviously we're talking about Rebirth, so keep it like that. Anything related to Rebirth. And if you have any questions about Rebirth, have any questions about the process of the recording, the engineering of it all, the direction, I want to open this up for you guys to kind of sound off. And while I do this, while you sound off, there's one more thing I need to ask. One more thing. Justin, this one, I mean, it's kind of for you, but I need you to watch something.
Full line thing over here. Have there been any memorable, unique moments during the recording processes, whether it be bloopers, odd encounters, fun moments in the script that kind of just stuck in your mind?
Well, I do think our audio engineer, Justin, did a blooper reel for the second game.
There is one that exists.
The world will never see it.
I don't think it can be released.
Oh, yeah. There are some sounds, definitely my stomach making certain noises at points. Tifa talks so quietly in a lot of those intimate moments, so I feel like the gain is so high. So anything I would do, he'd be like, but in terms of the second game, I did get to bring my dog to a recording.
So there's a blooper reel, Justin. We gonna see that?
Maybe.
when we gonna see that, Justin?
That's gonna stay locked up in the vault forever. It's not even done.
Maybe
I started
maybe one
it.
day.
I started making one. I was like, I'll have to come back when I get more ideas to finish this, and I just never gotten back to it. The cast, no one's heard it. Not even Kirk. No one's heard anything I've done with it. So
See, you can't just keep it all
maybe
to yourself.
one day. Yeah, maybe one day it'll come out. It'll slip out, but
Yeah, I'll
not
leak
anytime
it.
soon.
You can send it to me and I leak it. Yeah. reels. I'm just kidding. That is really cool. I love blooper reels anyway. Maybe they can do like old school movie style, like when the credits of the next game, they can just have the bloopers.
Yeah. Get some B-roll in there too.
Yeah. All right, so I'm gonna take a look at chat real quick. Let's see to do. Question from Drumjod. Did the voice now also did the voice team have to normalize all of the vocal recordings to the same volume? And then did the cutscene team adjust the volume of the voice lines to balance it with the music? Was that something that you guys would be in charge of?
I don't know after we delivered it. I know that when we were editing, we set the volume to a certain level. But what they did with it afterwards is on them. I'm assuming they don't really touch it because I remember on Remake, there's 3, you can adjust the volume yourselves of the dialogue, the sound effects, and the music. Mm-hmm. So I'm assuming they did the same thing for this game.
Yes.
And that's the case, and there's no real reason to mix it other than, throwing in room sounds and tones and outdoor environment sounds. So
yep,
that's all I can say about that.
Yeah, that's
a very
right.
intelligent question.
That's a good question from Jumjod. This one's from Neon Genesis. I know John Bentley mentioned that he had to walk out of the booth a couple times from some of the tough scenes. Were there any other voice actors who had to do that as well in Rebirth?
Max would ask for a break every now and then, or an unscheduled break, I'd say. But sure whether it was, I think they were more vocally stressful rather than emotionally stressful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But let's see.
Yeah, characters that had a lot of projected lines we definitely gave more breaks to because we can hear their voices getting wrecked.
Yeah, and there were times when we'd say, stop, okay, you need a break. Or I'd say, we're taking a break and not tell the actor because we could hear it in their voice. Just say, we're just going to take a break here. And as far as emotional, usually when it's emotional, the actors want to stay with it. They do not want to leave it.
Yeah.
They get in this, thing and they don't want to break it.
Yeah.
And so, it's more of a vocal thing than emotional.
Yeah.
That they would want to walk away.
Let's see. How long did it take to record Chadley's lines? There, are we talking from 2022 all the way to the end of the? He has like a permanent setup in the second booth, and then everybody else just kind of seconds.
Yeah, we just set up a cot.
Yeah.
He had a lot of sessions.
That one was
he
from.
had
I'm sorry, I didn't
lot
get
of sessions.
From Chinley Lee. So you had a lot of sessions, huh?
A lot of sessions, a lot of words. None of his lines were, hi there. Yeah, it's all, just paragraphs. Each line
Cloud,
is a paragraph.
I have something else to tell you about this whole region. Let me, and you have to give them all the detail. Were there any moments? Okay, no, I think we kind of asked this one a little bit, but I think we asked this one a little bit. With Samuel says, were there any moments where the actor struggled and had to retry a few times? Anything that come to mind right now for that one?
I mean, only if they don't understand the context, pretty much.
Yeah.
For the most part, yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, that's completely normal for an actor to, because sometimes an actor will see something. And I know I'm the same when I'm behind the mic. You'll see something a certain way, and you're going, and then the director says, "No, it's this." And you kind of go, "Oh, yeah, right, okay, yeah." So I got to attack that from a whole different way. So that's really normal.
Yeah, that's part of the process, and I imagine as the director, you kind of like know how to word that right. Because you're a voice actor yourself, where you're not like, like you got to do the whole thing over again, Yeah,
sometimes I'm really subtle with like a wrong. No, I try to be more subtle than that. Sometimes I'm not. Because the actors can take it. They're like, oh, yeah, right, Kirk.
This isn't the line I want. Or when he like swiped the. Let's see. Sam says in chat says, was there any specific moment when recording something that you were almost ready to give up on, but you had to push through? Like maybe something you were going to postpone to the next day, or give up on entirely, and in the end, everything came out just fine.
Screams.
Ah.
If a screaming line or a scene came up, we're like, we're gonna wait till the end of the session, and sometimes we'd forget. So, either end of the next session, they come in like, okay, so we usually dedicate the last 15-20 minutes of a session to screaming, to pick up stuff we left. So we're like, hey, now it's time to get it. But if it was in the middle of, sometimes we come up the very first lines of scream, like, no, we're gonna wait till later. Wait till the end of the session because we don't want to wreck your voice right off the bat. But it was mostly screaming and really loud stuff we would put off.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember anything else.
Not this game, but good story from Crisis Core.
Tell me about that one. Yeah.
I was directing Caleb, and Caleb's a young actor, and really, really good, and just, oh my God, the energy he brings is just so positive, and everybody just loves this guy.
He's Zach, yeah. He's gotta be, right?
But it was early on in the recording, and one of his earlier sessions, and I'm working on it and trying to guide him to the right performance, and at one point I take my finger off the button and I look at the client and I say, yeah, we're not going to get it, and the button had ghosted on me.
Oh no.
And so he heard it. And he said, no, I can do this. I can get it. Just, keep it. And he was absolutely right, and we got it.
That's awesome. Oh, man.
But like, I was just, he said that, no, I can get it. And I was like, what?
What, did you hear?
Because I say things all the time. I get, frustrated back here, and I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
But I try never to do that. But he was such a positive spirit that it did not get him at all. He just wanted to get right back on the horse and make sure that he got it right.
There he is. Shout out to Caleb, man. He is Zach. That is something Zach would totally do. Like, wait, I could do it.
Incredibly embarrassing for me, though.
Yeah, definitely for you. He's like, wait, you heard that?
I don't think I was there for that one, huh?
You weren't there for that?
Oh God, I don't think I was there for
that one. No. God, it was horrible.
Yeah, no, I wasn't there for that one.
All right, so subtext says, which scenes or recording sessions from Rebirth stick out in your mind? I think I did ask that question from earlier, sorry. Is there anything unique to the remake and Rebirth projects that makes them particularly unique compared to other projects that you've worked on? That one's also from subtext.
Just the fact that we're dubbing. More so for you, because this is pretty much all I do.
Yeah, and I've already answered it before. The fact that we were given the time to do it the way we wanted to do it. So many times you're under the gun. You say, okay, you've got to get this many lines per hour, and just if you're not getting it, screw it, just move on. And with these projects, they gave us, they said no, do it right. If we have to go over sessions, we go over, whatever. Just get it right.
That's awesome. That's got to be such a weight off the shoulders,
Oh, it's huge. It just makes working so much,
more fun.
More fun.
Yeah, more fun.
I mean, the biggest challenge in this game was remote recordings.
Yeah, with Kate Sith, I imagine you talked about from Scotland, right?
Yeah, that's one. We also had
Gideon.
Gideon was in England.
Oh yeah.
And there were several other.
Intergrid really opened up the remote stuff because Nayo was in Texas, and we had some guys in Georgia, I think, and then
was McConaughey in this one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he was in Georgia.
I can imagine that's
Boston was one of them too. We had someone in Boston, I think.
Oh yeah.
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 And I mean, the toughest thing about remote recording is not all engineers are built equally.
True. It's a lot of hands in the pot, you know, a lot of cooks.
Yeah, no, there was one European engineer, and it wasn't Paul Tinto at all. It was not his studio. It was another actor, and there are quite a few European ones. But this one studio asked for all kinds of specs. Like, we've never been like grilled about specs and what we want and what we're doing and all this. So I'm annoyed that I have to answer all these questions. So I answer all these questions, and then come session time, engineer is not prepped.
Oh,
Doesn't even have the session.
it's a nightmare.
Once he has the session, he doesn't realize where the lines are. I'm like, you don't know how to zoom out? It was just an absolute total nightmare.
Yeah, everybody's
Luckily, we
got
still
their
got
own-
through it in time. But
Yeah. I can imagine that's when you're doing remote, and then you have to make sure everybody sounds exactly like you want to make sure it's all cohesive, and
Yeah.
even if it's remote and stuff.
it's just
That's
nice,
it.
quiet room and good
Yeah.
levels.
Yeah.
But I mean,
And Skylark has ridiculously high standards for their audio quality.
Yeah.
I mean, I can hear
astoundingly
it
high
for sure.
standards.
I mean, I hear Justin's work. That's awesome. So I got a few more questions for you. I don't know. I mean, we've gone on for about an hour and a half, so I don't want to. You know, I obviously want to respect your time. So would you be able to answer these final questions? Just we can make them quicker if you want. So this one is from Renaissance Elf. Just wants to know what kind of wants to know if you worked with the foreign teams who did the foreign VA for like Germany, French, and stuff like that.
oh, not us.
Okay. You did have a client, Square Enix rep from Japan, correct? Like in the room, helping out, right? So
They're
just
in the room or online.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Cool. And then let's see. How long is a session, or does it vary? That's from Neon Genesis.
Session's 4 hours.
For the
Unless,
most part, yeah.
I think some of the NPC sessions were shorter, but all of our main characters, their sessions were 4 hours. And unless, until you get to the very end and there's not 4 hours of material left, but yeah, almost all were 4.
Okay. Chris Sawyer says, what recording equipment was used? This is asking from an audio engineer. So, or do we know Chris Sawyer?
Lots of equipment. Mostly U87s and 4047s or mics of choice. My mics of choice. We just run it through Avalon 737, a Martech MSS10. And I have a dangerous 2-channel compressor, which is, we use that for the first time for this game, and I have no problem with it. No problems with it. It's great. That's pretty much the chain. And it's running through converters and a board just to play back sound. I don't think I did anything else to it. Oh, that's it.
Hi to Kirk and Justin from Amanda. So, Amanda So,
Hi, Amanda.
Hey, Amanda.
all right. So, let me see. This is the final question here. I feel like I lost some. I'm sorry if I didn't get to your question. Let's see. Did you notice a shift or advancement in technology coming from Remake and into Rebirth? Did the software or hardware improve or change any noticeable degree? That's from Sam.
I got a newer computer.
Nice.
So that helped make running video a lot easier in Pro Tools.
Yeah.
I mean, the only new technology is just upgrading to make things faster and smoother. In terms of microphones and sound, it's basically the same. I guess the only change we did in the signal chain was the compressor. We used to use a DBX 160 SL, and now we're using the Dangerous. Although the 160 SL is in the other room, so they're still using that in the other room for NPCs and other characters.
Cool. All right. Well, this is the closing of the show, so I do want to say one more time, just thank you so much. This, for me personally, this is just an ultimate privilege for me, like to have earned an opportunity to be able to speak with you guys, for you to take time out of your busy day to be here and talk about this game. Because I love Final Fantasy so much, and getting to have an inside look on how it's made, what goes into this whole thing, that's what I'm most passionate about. I love playing video games, but I also love the, everything that goes into them as well. And it's the reason why I started the show. So thank you so much for being on the show. And to close out the show, you guys can close it out with any thoughts, or if there's a story that you wanted to talk about and you didn't get to, or anything like that. Just closing thoughts here, and we'll start with Kirk.
No, I think we covered so much. I just really appreciated all the great questions. I wish I'd had more stories, but it's been, let's see, how long has it been since we wrapped?
Middle of 23. It's been at least almost a year.
It's been almost a year. So if this had happened earlier, I'd have fresher stories. But yeah, I'm just sorry I didn't have better stories for you. But I love the questions and just had a great time.
Awesome. I'm glad to hear that. I had a great time as well. How about you, Justin?
I'm just surprised Kirk and I actually got along today.
That's astounding.
Very nice.
Oh man, the trash talk in this room between us is great. I look forward to it every single session.
Yeah, we scare the interns. The
Yeah.
interns come in and they're like,
"Is this real?"
How this really goes?
That's great, man. You guys are obviously a lot of fun, and thank you so much for being on the show. So I'm going to close it out here. For everybody watching, thank you so much for being here to chime in and chat. I hope you had a great time. Hope you enjoyed this little podcast here. And one more time, thank you so much, Kirk and Justin. Thank you.